My philosophy is definitely that volume is one of the best teachers. You don't know what your systems need to be to get to where ultimately your business could be. And you're building your systems for just the capacity that you have. And if you stop growing, then you rob yourself from the transformation that happens when you need to figure out how your systems need to evolve to support, like bringing on more clients faster.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
Hi,
Hello.
Brandon. We're excited to have you.
Hey.
You've been on our list for, I don't know, since day one. We've been like, we need Brandon. We need Brandon. Katie and I thought it would be awesome to learn not only about how you went from single entrepreneur to the solar cheat code world, but then also getting into growing agencies themselves and understanding how that all kind of unfolded in the last, 3 years?
Yeah.
2 years.
Really like 2 years.
2 years.
So I launched my first agency attempt probably many, many years ago. And I was trying to do video and drive people into funnels. And this was in like 2011, 2012. And small business owners had no idea what I was talking about. Nobody had really they were lucky if they had a Facebook page. Most of them didn't really believe this was an option. So I was a little bit early and a lot naive about where business owners were, especially small business owners. But my first sort of, I would say, real or informed attempt at launching an agency after that was on the heels of leaving a job where I was working for a coach and I was buying ads for the coach. We'd done really well. We did a couple 7-figure launches together. And I said, you know, I could probably make more money if I go out onto my own. So that's what I did. And honestly, I was stuck. We joined Cat Howell's Academy, and that really helped give us some structures and some leverage by using systems that had worked for other people, which if you're an agency owner and you're stuck, using somebody's system to help you grow is one of the best investments you can make, in my opinion. The biggest thing for me was that we had no pipeline. So until we started advertising and generating leads, like we had no hope of really growing our business. I think a lot of people will do the business group tour trying to generate leads that way. And in my experience, that's just always lended itself to very low quality leads with low quality intent. Some people may be successful there. Never worked for me. So yeah, I think using ads to generate clients was kind of the only way that I ever got it to work. Well, I did generate some organically too, but if you don't have a systematic lead generation as an agency owner, it's going to be very, very difficult to grow.
Totally.
Maybe you even learn that the hard way is probably what you're getting at.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, yeah.
Definitely.
That people should know.
Definitely learned that you're pretty much only as good as your pipeline. I think client churn tends to happen in patterns. Like you'll see a couple accounts churn at the same time. So you've got to have a pipeline at all times to even sustain where you are in your agency.
Totally. And I love your line that you should be always growing or addicted to growing or like never stop bringing in new business, even if it feels like you're not ready or that you don't have the system perfect yet or you don't have the team yet. Like just grow the business, get the leads, get the customers.
Yeah, my philosophy is definitely that volume is one of the best teachers. You don't know what your systems need to be to get to where ultimately your business could be. And the amount of clients, in this case, as an agency, the amount of clients that you have is you're building your systems for just the capacity that you have. And if you stop growing, then you rob yourself from the transformation that happens when you need to figure out how your systems need to evolve to support, like bringing on more clients faster. I think I do coach a lot of agency owners, and I commonly see people getting stuck in terms of not being sure when the right moment is to hire, and feeling as though, well, I bring on one more client, but I'm eating into my own like compensation.
Mhm.
If I bring on one client, I have to do the extra work, or if I hire someone else, then I may actually, it may actually cost me personally as the agency owner a fair amount of what I've been paying myself. And I think that is one of the hardest times, but it's also a symptom of a larger problem of you're not in the habit of bringing on clients fast enough. So I think overcoming that particular hurdle is one of the most challenging ones to get to, because not only do you need to have a healthy enough pipeline to do that, you also have to invest in that pipeline. And then additionally, you need to have a system that will support more clients by either bringing in other people or evolving the way that you deliver that service.
Yeah, I love
Kind of a
that. The
minefield.
habit of growing. So you went from just you to launching what you said was almost an agency. And then when we started working together, you were kind of, you still had your agency, you had one major client, and then that flipped and then you partnered. Can you tell us kind of how that transitioned?
Sure. So I hired you guys to help me manage basically my one client. My longtime business partner was deployed. Did a few freelance things because we weren't really sure where our agency was headed or what the plan was going to be when he got back from deployment. So I took on this freelance coaching gig, and it went really well. I helped him drive a lot of coaching sales pretty much immediately. And then after a few months, he came to me and said, "Hey, I think that we should partner together." And we did that. And one of the primary things that we did by doing that was actually starting an agency offering the service of running ads to solar companies. Previously, we'd only offered coaching to them. And well, that kind of just grew like crazy. We already had a list, we already had audience, and many of them had been asking for this for a long time. So, we started our agency with a list of 5 clients, and then a week later it was like another 5 clients, and then it kind of just really kept growing from there.
And something that was so smart about that, Brandon, was even like you were targeting a demographic that very obviously needed your help. Like it was, sure, they might want to try and do it on their own. I don't want to speak for them all, but usually they couldn't do it. And then they came to you guys again, which is such a smart move. Just this world, this audience that really needs help, that works so well and so well on budget and so well feeding them leads and getting their process really tight.
Yeah. So in the solar space, we deal mostly with either sales managers or owners of a solar sales company who works through other dealers. Some of them are also installers, but the main theme is they're looking for people who want solar on their house, and they rarely have that much marketing experience, and less of them have experience buying ads on Facebook or any other social network. So it's a bit of a leap for them to figure it out. The training and sessions that we offer in the coaching program helped many of them figure it out, but still there were some who just couldn't really budget the time that it requires to stay up with that. And so it became a natural next step for many of those people to jump on as our client and have us run their ads for them. And for a lot of them, that's gone very, very well. That's always good to see.
Love that. So you helped scale this one agency with your partner, and then you are now coaching other agencies to do the same thing.
Sure. So let's see. In August of last year, I began having chats with my now business partner, Kat Howell, and I bought her program to teach me how to run an agency. And she'd been looking for ways to sort of take a step back from running her business. And we had a conversation and decided that we should partner. So I bought into her company, and I've taken on a couple more private agency coaching clients in the past, 6 to 8 months. helping them sort of build a similar agency that we built. And it feels like a very transitional phase right now where the market has shifted a lot. I think agency owners are looking into different types of structures and strategies on what type of agency that they should build right now. Now more than ever, I think I'm seeing that very early on from agency owners. Even if they don't have one yet, they're thinking about who should I help? And they're thinking like, I should probably be niched. I think that advice is out there enough that people are looking to do that from day one, which is good because I think it makes sense. I also think it's hard to pick one if you don't really have that much experience because you know, you don't know the downsides of any particular one. So we bought, Justin Sharp and I bought into Kat's business. And so we're providing coaching to the mastermind that we have there, as well as we have a service called Digital Distillery Pro, and that teaches people how to run Facebook ads. So we're also chiming in there. And then additionally, we have an academy which teaches freelancers or new agency owners how to build and scale their agency with processes, systems. Kind of, we give a template funnels for building a pipeline and teach you how to run them, and have a lot of support on that too. I think there's 4 calls a week. It might only be 2, but there's 2 to 4 calls a week simply on making sure that your advertising as an agency is continuing to perform. So we definitely invest heavily in making sure that agency owners have support in building their pipeline, which again, I think is one of the most important assets that your agency can have.
Totally.
Especially in COVID. I know so many people when COVID hit who suddenly had no clients, from 10 or 15 to 0. And especially in the event space, right? But it just goes to show you that things can happen, not just like pandemics can happen, but in any industry, events can happen that can change the face of that industry immediately. And, you know, making sure that you have systems in place so that if something like that did happen, it wouldn't be impossible for you to take a pivot or, you know, have some pipeline already so that you can start new relationships. In fact, in our solar agency, we lost all but 1 or 2 of our clients, and we had like 20 when COVID really hit. But then the next month we brought on like 27 clients in that next month of people who were door knocking but could not do it. And we just saw that trend continue all the way through until now. More and more demand for the service.
And it just shows that you were ready. Like you had the business built, you had the clients, the list, the people who already trusted you, and then you just turned it on. And I mean, it just grew like so fast last year. It was crazy to watch. Now that you're running a business with agency owners and you're coaching them, where do you see the biggest holes in agencies' businesses? So not even just growing, but like where are kind of people falling short or getting stressed, or like those bottlenecks that are stopping them?
So I think the things I see the most often are that, number one, the agency owner is the business. Even if there's a team, even if there's contractors, even if there is a very set process and all of these things, the agency can't run day to day without the owner. And I think that's true in most agencies to some extent, especially like small agencies. I'm not talking about, you know, 1,000 client agencies or 1,000 employee agencies. Plenty of those exist. But in small business agencies that are, you know, less than 2 years old, the owner is the best employee inside of the agency, and the business will fail without them at some point. And I think as an agency owner, for the benefit of the company itself, it is in your best interest to find a way that the business can survive without you. I think they're stepping stones. So that's like a symptom that I see all the time. And it ends up most often with agency owners having sort of a roller coaster like experience in terms of, things are going really well. They feel on the top of the world. One of their big client leaves and maybe two at the same time. And then suddenly they're feeling strapped for cash and they felt like things were going so well. And now all of a sudden it feels like the opposite. And then, maybe they get a couple new clients and it's amazing. And then like one of the ad buyers leaves and then they're struggling to recruit and they're suddenly buying ads again. And what this really comes down to is I don't know that you could really prep yourself emotionally for the onslaught of changes that being a business owner, frankly, requires. Now, not all business owners are this way, but especially in a service-based industry that deals with relatively few numbers of clients, right? I mean, you're not selling 10,000 people a massage across three. Like you are going to hear about the client complaints. They're going to have their personal effect on you. You are going to, on some level, have a lot of experience with your clients. And so anything that seems to be going wrong can be very emotionally draining. And I think a lot of agency owners get burned out very, very quickly. And managing your own emotions, the two pieces of number one, sort of being the every fail safe in the company as the owner, and then number two, the emotional impact that has on you, like those are the two biggest liabilities that almost every agency owner will face while they're growing and starting their agency. And neither one is really skippable. Like the only way to do it is to grow big enough to not need yourself and like really work your way out of a job. And I'm not sure I've been successful doing that yet. I'll keep you posted if I get that done.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
So I did kind of want to ask, and I think you did just answer this a little bit, and I probably should have asked it before, but like, who is the avatar that's coming? Like, who are these agency owners? Are they usually kind of first-time business owners? Do they have this corporate past and they just want to switch it over? Or who are these people?
Yeah.
So I think there's a variety. Some of them, I wouldn't say, well, some of them are very sales oriented and have a background in direct sales. So there's several different types of avatars. I guess I should have said that first. There's several different types of avatars that I see coming through. The first one is someone who has a background in sales or experience as an entrepreneur in the sales world and sees, hey, I can offer marketing services, recurring revenue. I can recruit the people I need to run this service. And I can basically build a business this way. They may have always had a love for marketing or experience in marketing too, but generally I see the theme of people who are good salespeople and experienced at selling products directly to people, kind of taking the leap and starting an agency. The second type, I would say, is a marketer who has realized that their skill set and the value of that skill set has outpaced what they can make in a salary. And so I see a lot of those people who may have some corporate experience, like you were saying, or they may have been working like that's kind of me, right? I came from working in the coaching business, buying ads, building funnels, doing those types of things and feeling like, hey, the $60,000 a year I get paid is like, I felt grossly underpaid. I probably wasn't, but I felt that way. And it inspired me to try to earn more and serve more and help more people. And then, so those are the two main ones that I see overall. I do think there's other categories of entrepreneurs in the agency space. There are a lot of people who are looking to buy agencies, roll them up, and then resell them. You don't hear too much about them in the circles, but they are doing that good work. I think that at the core, it's usually people who are either in marketing or people who have had sort of entrepreneurial sales experience in the past who are starting agencies. And occasionally you'll get the oddball, like, oh, I was a doctor for a long time, and I learned to run Facebook ads and thought I would try something new. But even there, I find that those people are generally a fit in one of the other two categories.
Yeah. And like the barriers to entry are so low. I know for me, like leaving my corporate job and just being like, oh, I'll just I'll just make money on my own. And then you get into it and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many different things you have to pay for and training you need and accountants and lawyers and all the things that come along with owning a business that you don't really realize. So like for me, joining the academy was so crucial because it sped up how quickly you can see success because you have people who are doing it or have done it, and they just give you this framework of this is what you need. And it just, yeah.
And it works.
And it works.
Well,
yeah.
I don't care who you get coaching from. I'm a big believer in getting advised by people who have walked the road that you're about to go down. There are ways to get it without paying for it. But I also think that your investment into a mentor beyond your time, but a monetary investment, also it double incentivizes the mentor. You know, if they're willing to be your mentor, they have even more stake in your success. So I'm a big believer in it. I've purchased many coaching programs. I've promoted many coaching programs as a marketer. I mean, it's not just like a linear growth that you get as a result of a coaching program. Oftentimes it's a complete transformation of you as an entrepreneur and your understanding of the business that you're building and where you can take it. It also impacts your belief in your own ability to make it successful, to have a community of other people doing it and a community of people who have already done it. So if you can find a community like that in really in any business or in anything you want to do in life, it makes sense to do what it takes to get in that community. Easiest way is probably to use money to get into it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's a shortcut because I don't really think, I mean, I do think it saves you endless amounts of time, but I think shortcut has a negative connotation to it. Like, you know, you don't want to be taking shortcuts all the time, but what it does is it really accelerates your progress of evolution.
Yeah. And like you're hanging out with people who are on the same level as you.
Yep.
Because if you're trying to grow a business on your own, like it's just you and you're not going to be accountable. Or if you try and grow a business in your local small town, you're not leveling up like the people who you're meeting in these communities of people who have big goals and see no limits, and they're at this different level than most people around you. And that's going to speed you up.
Absolutely. And I also think it's, you know, in a way, the voices in your own head that tell you whether they think you're going to be successful or not, your own belief in yourself. Some people really love to hear like other people tell them they're not going to make it or that they're going to fail, and they use that as inspiration. But I think by far, most people don't need that type of voice in their mind. And the truth is that whenever you're doing something entrepreneurial, the numbers are stacked against you, and your family and your friends are very likely to try to temper your expectations of the outcomes because they don't want to see you get disappointed. And I think that's, you got to tune those people out. Or I'm not saying they can't be in your life, but I'm saying getting into a community of other people who believe in themselves and who are doing it and are making progress and doing that will inspire you, and it will keep your ability to believe in yourself like sharpened.
Then people who have taken the risk, right? Like they've taken the risk and they've come up and they've leveled up, and because it can be really stressful sometimes. I mean, on all fronts, financially, and you are like the author of your own book, really. So being around people that understand, you know, like all three of us can go tell our great grandmother what we do for a living, and like they don't even understand, right? Oh, you're by yourself. Like, so there's people that like understand it, are living in the world, and really can like show you how to guide your business, but also like level up, and maybe it's bad and maybe it's good, and kind of the ebbs and flows of being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. I kind of want to flip this on you guys. Like, you guys serve agency owners. So I'm curious, like, do you see any avatars that I didn't mention? And what do you think that the primary challenges agency owners are facing now? I think you have a unique perspective because you help people manage their clientele. So I'd be very interested to hear what your audience and what your clients are going through.
Yeah, for us, obviously, we have a little bit of a specific lens when it comes to managing clients, but most agencies that come to us for help are kind of already at that mid-sized level, right? They've already established their business, they know what their niche is, they know who their clientele are, and they have clients. Most of these people are at this stage where they're, of course, working too much in the business, but they usually have a team and they just can't find the perfect person to manage their clients. And for us, a lot of the times they might come to us and say, oh, we have someone, but they're just not performing well. Or we have someone who just can't get the marketing strategy under their belt, or they need extra training or resources or things like that. So they're almost at this like up level phase where it's not about getting the business off the ground. It's more so just optimizing it to, again, get the agency owner out of operating the business. That's what I see is always the main goal. Like every agency we speak with is, I need to get out of the day to day. So I think that is still the biggest bottleneck we see in these mid-size agencies.
And I think, Brandon, you made a great point of like, so client heavy, or like if you lose your big client, then, you're scrambling, and your team, kind of feels that as well. So these people see that their clients are really like so important in their business. They need clients, they want to maintain these relationships. And they also realize that they're not doing a good job kind of with quick responses, or even like, a gentle touch to emails and things like that. So they're in the day-to-day, but also realize how important the client-driven agency life is. So they need to they see the importance of having happy clients, but then they also can see that they can't deliver on that because they're doing all of the other things of the agency.
For sure. Yeah,
so
it makes it. It makes a lot of sense.
that person that's like the one-man show really needs our one-person show, really needs our help, but sometimes it can be difficult for them to just like hand it over. So that's definitely one of our avatars too. Like they know that it's important, but like kind of letting it go can be difficult.
I totally get that. And I know when I first hired you guys, I had one client. And man, that is so funny to think about now. And my main reason was I wanted someone else to just sort of be a communication blocker. Not that I didn't want to communicate with my client, but I wanted somebody to respond quickly to any requests, and by myself the ability to focus more deeply on getting the client the result. Sometimes the client requests will help you get a better result, but if you run ads, I'm guessing most of you have found that clients generally, their concerns about what you're doing and how to make it better are not that helpful. Like they hired you for a reason. They don't know what to do. Some of them will hire you just because they don't have time and they do kind of know what works. But oftentimes, yeah, the request from a client. Now, my partner, Bill, by the way, I wouldn't say that he's the type to give generally bad advice. If anything, Bill's main thing was like always more. Let's get more calls. Let's sell more. And he just wanted to beat the war drum. And that's one of the things I admire most about him, actually. So he's always hungry for more.
I think to kind of wrap up, or a final question on our end, Brandon, is what is next for not only Brandon, but 8Loop, DD Pro, everything you're kind of working on? What's the next step for you?
So, well, I have an agency in sort of the incubation phase. We have 4 clients. We're serving jewelers. Watching that one grow is on deck. For 8Loop is still in transition. We'll be working on that for a while. I think continuing to serve people who are looking to add real value to their clients and build healthy businesses. I mean, that's still the primary work. And then teaching talented marketers the skill of Facebook ads, as well as business owners who want to run their own Facebook ads. Like we're still going to keep doing that. Facebook ads have gone through a world rocking year, I think. And I don't think it's as bad as anyone thought it would be. Maybe some people would disagree with me on that. I think there's a tendency to, Facebook does not give you much control. Like you have a certain amount of control, but you definitely do not have very much over the entire process. You have to play by their rules and they are subject to change. And I think that takes a real exercise in the art of letting go. And I think as an entrepreneur, that's one of the most important skills. Like you do have to impose your will into the universe to get the result that you want. But most of the time, you can't have it exactly how you want it, or the method in which you get that result is not usually up to you. It's up to you to discover the method that will get you that result. And so I think the big what's next for me in general is to continue to bring back learning to the community of agencies, the community of ad buyers that I'm serving, and my clients themselves, continuing to bring them more revenue with their investment into us. I think that there's a lot of change in the marketing space right now. And what's interesting is most of it seems to be structural. And what I mean by that is tools are changing, processes are changing, like regulations are changing. And I think that many people have given up already. I don't think that's the right move. I think now is a time where your skills as an ad buyer, as an agency owner, like the demand is going way, way up. And the knowledge gap is also going way, way up. So if you can just stay on the edge or close to the edge, if you keep learning with everything you already know now, your trajectory is very good. Like it's a great time to be in this industry because it's getting way harder. It used to be literally they could hire their nephew and put up a Facebook ad. They might get a good result from it. I think those days are coming to an end. There's just too much that you need to understand. There's too much technology involved. And then beyond that, the creative aspect of marketing also is quite prolific. So if you can help your clients get past the technology and you can provide the creative and strategic input to get them a result, I mean, the value of that is just going to keep going up and up and up and up. So keep doing that if you're doing it.
Amazing. Well, we can't wait to see all the growth that's going to happen. Already things are seeming to change in the community and things are just really great stuff. So we can't wait to be a part of it with you guys and to see you guys grow.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for
Well,
coming.
now just say where we can find you.
So if you're interested in learning how to manage Facebook ads better, you can go to digitaldistillery.com. And you can find links to that, and our agency program is also linked up on there. If you happen to be in solar, check out solarcheatcode.com. We help solar businesses build out sales pipelines. Actually, I was just visiting someone. I have to tell you guys this. My buddy Adian, shout out to Adian Martin. I think you guys remember Adian.
You guys have been besties.
So
forever.
I was in Phoenix this week. We were there for 2 days and they closed 20 solar deals while we were there.
What?
Which is, they're monsters.
I was just going to say he's a machine.
They've completely rebuilt their business too. It's been
you know what, Brandon? I was just going to say he just paused when I stopped working with Solar Cheat Code. And I'm happy to hear he's back and thriving.
Solar is a really complicated industry. And, Adian saw challenges in his business and he figured out how to overcome them. And I think this is a trait that if you want to grow a business, you have to be resilient. I mean, you have to be resilient and you need to be very creative with the solutions that you have. Your business will tell you a story through the data in the business and both quantitative and qualitative data. And being a good interpreter of this data is absolutely critical. And all the best entrepreneurs I know have that ability to look at what's happening and really break it down to the real root cause and determine whether this client complaint is the problem of the client, a problem inside of the business, or rather an opportunity to improve the business. And, the best take that feedback and make it better. And, they get paid a dividend for that in the future. So I just always strive to be that type of business owner.
Love
myself.
Love that.
I just want to thank you guys for having me on again. Lovely to catch up.
Yeah.
Always lovely.
Thank you for listening in to another episode of the Happy Clients podcast. If you need help with anything client management, processes, SOPs, we can help. So reach out .andcompany.co, and we're here to make your clients happy.
Cheers to happy clients.